I was hoping I didn't have to do this video, but it's time. It's almost time for Destiny 2 Beyond Light. Now, what you see in the video is me trying out Destiny 2 on the PC for the first time. You may notice I'm probably going to be shit, and that's okay. I'm going to get better. But this doesn't have, me talking over this, it doesn't have to necessarily, it has nothing to do with Crucible. It has to do with Destiny as a whole. Destiny 1, it was such a interesting concept that I feel like it could have been a great series on Destiny 2. Destiny 2, however, the base story was pretty meager to say the least. Because Gary Gall, whatever you want to call him, I forget his name at the point. He's honestly a relevant villain at this point. He didn't really do much except for kill the speaker, but the speaker was essentially useless. In Destiny 1, he didn't really contribute to much, so not as many people cared as much for him compared to Cade. And speaking on Cade, we'll get to that later. The base story, pretty meager. Curse of, I forget which is which, but Curse of Osiris and the Warmind, both of them are shit. Either one of them are incredibly short for $50, $40 or $50 worth, and the other one is not that much content. Now, Forsaken, that was good. However, I feel like that honestly could have been the that could have been the base story. Like, imagine if Goal was like the first half of the base story, and then bam, boom, K dies in the second half after that victory. All those guys from the prison Elder just came in swooming after that hard-earned war and just killed K right off the bat. I feel like that would have been way better, and the suspension and the tension would have been even greater, knowing if we were even going to survive, knowing that they even killed Cade off. But here, it doesn't really do it that well. And not only that, the fact that this new DLC Beyond Light is not even going to have as much content as Forsaken, which that's baffling to me, considering that Taken King in Destiny 1 is easily the best DLC out of them all. And the fact that Destiny 2 doesn't even compare, still after 4 or 5 years, it still doesn't even compare to Taken King. There is a problem when you can't even come remotely close to that. Cause I mean, at least Taken King, it had a lot of story, and before that, Crota, Oryx, all these different characters, they had amazing backstories and all this other shit. Here, it's basically non-existent. Now, it could change with Beyond Light, but the thing is, with Beyond Light not having much content, I don't really expect it to wow me, and I love Destiny 2, right? Do I have faith in it? At this point, I say no, and it's not actually Activision's fault. I think it's just Bungie not being aware of what to do with Destiny. Because when you compare Destiny 2 to any other MMO, it falls dramatically short. So let's take I don't know, Black Desert. Black Desert is recent, okay? It is recent, but it still gets the job done. It is still fun. Because, I mean, like Final Fantasy and World of Warcraft, they'll have excuses because they'll have years of talent to work on. Black Desert is a little bit more on the recent side, so let's compare that. At least with Black Desert, there's a lot of quests. You can play as multiple different characters, and with Destiny 2, you only play as the Titan, the Hunter, the Warlock. Speaking of which, the Warlock to this day is my favorite character, but he does suck. The Warlock is so limited because his ability is really worn off. Except the healing ability, that one's good, but the rest, don't really provide much, considering that they don't even give them armor. So why would I want to use that in Crucible when I could just die at any moment? You see what I'm saying? And so the fact that like Destiny 2 doesn't even provide content. I mean, the only thing you really do is, from my memory, right? This is just my memory. Maybe, who knows? Maybe I could be entirely wrong, and the story the content dramatically changed. But I doubt that. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because the past 3 or 4 years that I've been playing Destiny before I stopped, it's either Nightfall, Strikes, Raids are pointless at this point, honestly. Raids are pointless, Crucible, and Gambit. Now, while those are cool and all, it's very repetitive and it doesn't actually do anything different. And they don't even, and it feels like a lazy cop out. Like, they don't actually put real effort. Like you could talk about a big game about putting more maps in Crucible and Gambit. You could do anyone could do that, but not even having the resources to create new modes, and not even on that they have less resources because they're bolting some of the maps and the planet, all that, so they have less resources to work with. So, but despite that, they have less stuff going into the bolt. They have more stuff going into bolt, less stuff for us to interact with. But despite of that, they're still not adding much for Forsaken. My bad, to Beyond Light. It's still not going to be as big as Forsaken, despite all of that is being removed from the game for a certain period of time. And that's what I think it said. Why I think graphics does not mean everything. I think Destiny 2, the problem it has, the graphics. Now I know the graphics are amazing, but I think the graphics is one of the points. It's not a major point, but it's one point that I think that hurts the game in the long run. Because when you look at other MMOs, they look decent, right? But they don't look as great as Destiny 2. And that's mostly because they want to put all their resources into content. And if they just put it to graphics, they're not going to have as much resources into content. And because if they just put on graphics, everyone's going to give them backlash and shit for it. Destiny 2, it just doesn't really provide any substantial content. And so I'm kind of just getting tired of it. Like I said before, strikes are cool and all. You just do the first time you complete a new strike, you're pretty much just bored. You're pretty much just not really as interested for that strike as you usually would be for the first time. You just, okay, let's just get the strike out of the way. That's just awful level design. The fact that you can't even add any new mechanics or any of that. You're Bungie. You have millions of resources. You're the people who made Halo 1, 2, 3. And yet, Destiny 2, this is the best you got after 4 years. And not even counting that, let's count Destiny 1. And the fact that Destiny 2 still doesn't even come half as short to coming to Destiny 2. Because one, it keeps adding exotics that we already had Destiny 1. Well, that's cool and all. They should have been there for a base beginning. That's not new content. And I'm willing to bet you they're going to do the same thing for Beyond Light. And two, if there's not that much story, then why the fuck would I play the game if I don't care about the overall arc of the characters? The characters suck. Because Destiny 1, Ares, Cade, all these characters were interesting. Destiny 2, they're pretty just along there for the ride, really. I mean, what more can I say? This game fucking sucks. I mean, Destiny 1 will always be one of my favorites, but Destiny 2, it's just a severe downgrade, unfortunately. Will this game get better in the future? Possibly, but it's not gonna be anytime soon. It's not gonna be in my future. I can definitely tell you that much. That's why while I'm debating on if to get to Beyond Light, I do definitely believe it's not going to be a Forsaken, a Taken King, or even I don't know, or any substantial update in Destiny 1. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where we just have to wait and see November. I'm hoping for the best, but I'm expecting the worst in every possible scenario. But regardless, I'll see you in the next one and check out the rest.